And this is why the Dems usually start positions with feelings and victimhood, and the Republicans usually start with facts.
Well,
I don't think liberals are evil. I just think they're wrong. But they think I'm evil,
stupid.
and they want me to die.
Congress understanding they can pass legislation about border security that deals with the dreamers, that deals with the people here. You do.
It's Trump derangement syndrome.
Right
All
now,
families,
what you get is the Congress playing politics instead of dealing with real solutions, Jesse.
You've got the majority.
Just to be clear, Trump had the House and the Senate and the White House did zero. In fact, he damaged this situation and made it more damaging now for Biden.
Trump's fault. Got it. We got it, one.
Oh, get out of here.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
The Vice President, J.D. Vance, said Mr. Trump hopes to have the border wall completed by 2029. Lilia Luciano reports illegal border crossings are down dramatically.
This is what the border looked like near El Paso 2 years ago, as hundreds lined up to claim asylum. We were there at the height of it. Now the streets are empty and the shelters quiet. Illegal crossings are down 94% across the entire border from the same period last year, from nearly 5,000 a day to less than 300. Since taking office, President Trump has dramatically cut back the process for legal entry, while promising the largest mass deportation in U.S. history.
Well, Lilia, how else have they been able to get these numbers down so dramatically low?
Just Trump being in office is deterrence enough. And the impact is felt throughout the hemisphere. Last week, I heard from a Panamanian government official who told me that now their country is dealing with reverse migration, people heading back down south from those who historically had tried to head up north.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border.
Fundamentally, what we need is new legislation to fix what everyone agrees is a broken immigration system.
The president can't do this by himself. The president doesn't have the legal authority without additional legislation.
Do you think that new laws are needed to fix what we're seeing?
Brianna, you absolutely need congressional action to fix this crisis. That is a fundamental truth, and anybody who says that it can be done with, a snap of the finger or a wave of a magic wand is lying to their constituents.
And this is part of the fiction that gets perpetuated on the American public by Republicans.
Congress, as you all know, has not acted on this issue in any significant way since the 1990s, and so...
But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Caroline Leavitt put out an excretion on X where she said, remember when Joe Biden and Democrats said they needed a border bill to secure the border?
Republicans in the House started screaming, no, the president doesn't need any new laws. He has all the authority he needs. That's just not true. We know that because Donald Trump couldn't do a much better job of controlling the border.
What, are you retarded?
So, no, we need legislation. Republicans know we need legislation, and many of them are trying to stop this legislation because they know the president can't fix it on his own, and they know that the border will still be chaotic without us passing a bill.
I know you're not retarded. But what are you, Down syndrome?
When Joe Biden and Democrats said they needed a border bill to secure the border, President Trump did this in 4 weeks. Somehow, in February of 2025, only 8,300 encounters on the southern border. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. A reduction of almost 96%. That is incredible. How did Trump accomplish such a majestic feat? Well, it turns out that it's all made up. And I do mean all of it. The data is from Fox News. The data is from Fox News. So the article that this graphic was sourced from is called Trump Reports Illegal Immigrant Encounters at Historic Lows during first full month in office.
Well, there's just no doubt about it that these are dramatic numbers. If you look at comparing January 24 to January 2025, the month that just passed, we're talking about a difference of 100,000 fewer people.
February's apprehensions are a record-setting low number. And if you look at the text of the article, all it says is Trump is claiming this number. It says the data is just Trump says that this is the number that we are down to.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. Can you assess your work so far?
Well, look, I looked at the numbers this morning, Maria. The crossings on the border are down 93%.
Well, it turns out that it's all made up. And I do mean all of it. Trump said, quote, "The month of February, my first full month in office, had the lowest number of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country in history by far. There were only 8,326 apprehensions of illegals by Border Patrol at the U.S.-Mexico border. So this is not data. This is not a report.
It is quiet here at the U.S.-Mexico border, where illegal crossings are down by more than 90% from the same time last year. We have seen Border Patrol agents, soldiers, and vehicles and barriers, but no migrants so far.
Last month, the Border Patrol recorded the lowest level in illegal border crossings in at least 25 years.
This is a post from Trump on Truth Social. And the key word here is that Trump is talking about apprehensions. Now, you should be critical thinking, right? You should already be saying, wait a second. If we go back to the Fox News post, it said there were 8,326 encounters, whereas in Trump's post, he says there were 8,326 apprehensions. Encounters, apprehensions, exact same number. But logic and reason should tell you some encounters don't lead to an apprehension.
President Donald Trump is celebrating the historic low border crossings during the first full month he's been in office, saying apprehensions at the southern border are at a record-setting low. According to the latest data from Customs and Border Protection, only 8,326 illegal migrants were apprehended by Border Patrol last month, representing a 96% drop from illegal crossings during the Biden administration, when highs in December of 2023 were at more than 301,000 encounters.
And yet, you have Fox News saying we had 8,326 encounters, and Trump says we had 8,326 apprehensions. Something doesn't sound right.
According to the latest data from Customs and Border Protection, only 8,326 illegal migrants were apprehended by Border Patrol last month, representing a 96% drop from illegal crossings during the Biden administration.
There's no crime, there's no undocumented. It's just someone who showed up and said, I would like to come in, and they were told, you can't come in for whatever reason. This should be a bigger number when you say how many people were actually apprehended versus how many encounters. The encounter number should be much bigger.
All right, so break down these numbers for me. What do you see?
So right now we know that Border Patrol recorded fewer than 9,000 migrant apprehensions along the U.S.-Mexico border in February in 28 days. That is a stunning, extraordinary reduction in illegal immigration.
In fact, if you really want to compare apples to apples, we don't have the February number yet. It just hasn't been published. You go to Customs and Border Patrol and you look at the data. We do not have the February 2025 number yet. Now, that didn't stop Trump from putting this post out on Truth Social.
President Trump's catch and deport strategy now in full swing, with many migrants facing deportation within hours of crossing the border. And the new approach has the crossings plummeting to their lowest levels in decades. February seen roughly 8,300 apprehensions, a staggering 94% drop from the same time last year.
It didn't stop Fox News from then carrying that number as if there's any semblance of reason to think it's true. And it didn't stop Caroline Leavitt from then posting about it to Twitter. And then it didn't stop Elon Musk from retweeting what Caroline Leavitt posted.
All quiet on the southern border. The month of February bringing just a little more than 8,000 apprehensions, which President Donald Trump celebrated in a post as the, quote, lowest number of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country in history.
And it's nonsense. Now, there are two other issues. They are choosing February of 2024 even as the comparison number. However, the last full month that Joe Biden was in office was December, and there were only 47,000 in December. So why would we even compare February to last February? Well, you could say there's a seasonality to it, okay. But if the idea is to show the failures of Biden, it would make more sense to look at a more recent number to say, is the drop really that significant from where we've been?
To put things into perspective, during the Biden-Harris administration, 8,000 to 10,000 migrants would cross in a single day, with a high of 11,000 illegal migrants crossing in December of 2023. Trump saying on social media that this means very few people came. The invasion of our country is over, he said. In comparison, under Joe Biden, there were 300,000 illegal crossings in 1 month, and virtually all of them were released into our country. Thanks to the Trump administration policies, the border is closed to all illegal migrants.
93%.
Wow.
That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. So look, I said it, President Trump is a game changer. No one has had the success he's had on securing the border. He clearly understands we can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in.
You can argue a low number of apprehensions or a low number of encounters. It doesn't matter. You can point to a low number as a sign of success, or you can point to a high number as a sign of success. Let me explain that and explain to you why this is also so bogus. Imagine that you want to celebrate a low number of encounters and apprehensions. You say, my policies have scared people from even trying to come over, and all of a sudden, we're not encountering or apprehending people because my policies have been so good at dissuading people from even making the attempt.
The Trump administration is saying that its sweeping government-wide crackdown on illegal immigration is fueling this dramatic drop in illegal crossings. They are, of course, now expelling migrants without allowing them to request asylum. They have deployed the military to help with border enforcement, and they're also using military flights to deport and detain migrants and to send them back to their home countries. And so this is really a dramatic turnaround. And the last time Border Patrol averaged about 8,000 monthly apprehensions, according to the data that we have, was in 1968.
On the other hand, you could also say the reason that encounters and apprehensions are down is because we are not properly funding Border Patrol. We don't have enough Border Patrol agents. It's sort of the, if you don't test, you'll have no COVID cases. So you could similarly make the argument, if you had a high number of apprehensions, we're doing a hell of a job. Look at how many people we are apprehending and sending back. And so the point here is, whether you have a high number or a low number, you can always argue that it's a sign of success.
Question is, and how do we look at the actual data? Is it the number of crossings that are down or the number of reported crossings?
So Border Patrol apprehensions denote the number of times that Border Patrol processes an individual migrant. So these are apprehensions of people who actually get caught and processed by Border Patrol. They do not include the so-called gotaways, people who essentially sneak into the country and evade law enforcement and obviously are not counted in the tallies because they're not caught by Border Patrol. So the numbers could be slightly higher, but Border Patrol sources tell us that the number of gotaways have also gone down. We don't have those figures yet because Border Patrol agents are now back on the field and not processing as many migrants as they were back during the Biden administration.